start off with.
Pain, groin pain, knee pain, back pain, where
Okay, now
our feet kind of roll in too much.
I'm going to laugh. The footy players are so pedantic about what happens with this one here. All right. So I'm not going to tell you where to put this one as long as you've got a decent length to work with. Okay. So if you go too low, same thing. You don't have the leverage on the tape to do what you're trying to do. Go too high, it's not going to do the work. So there is a range. Most players will tell you where they want it.
That's another thing you can use this type of taping for.
Okay.
So what we're going to try and do with the tape is try and replicate that.
As we're trying to stop this movement here, the 3 anchors we're going to do, we're going to start medially and pull up laterally so that we're pulling up like this. You don't actually want the foot to be like this, but that's basically going to help block that movement.
Whenever you're taping a foot, it's actually really good if you can get.
You don't want the tape to come so far forward that you go over this bony. Sorry. Because it hurts. Because then that's going to affect the functioning of the foot. So that's the head of the metatarsal. So you want your tape to be behind that. Okay? And we're going to do 3 stirrups. Each stirrup is just overlapping a little bit further, and we're moving from back to front. Lots of people do these differently. So as physios, we got taught to go straight, but as I watch the guys at the club, so at the club, all the trainers do all the taping. We don't tape at all. They have angles. So I'll show you what that. Do you guys do that as well? Club, do you do angles or you go straight?
We like fan it out.
Yeah. Or so I'll do the straight bit first, then I'll show you. Okay. So the first one is just a laying down, and then you go more force coming up.
So you can start on the lateral side of their foot. So just basically, you just want to sort of sense. You guys see where I'm going there yet? So I'm sort of starting most of the foot there just to get a bit of foot.
We haven't talked about the sprays either. So depending on some guys, if they sweat a lot and you want more of a stick, or they shouldn't have hair, but if they've got hair, you can do your sprays too. So that's what I mean by fanning. So here, instead of coming straight up, you fan a bit. So up and there.
And then we just across here. And we're
so big guys, I use the 50, the fat, and then smaller ankles we'll use.
Just be careful you don't cut in too much because it can sort of get a bit.
The other thing as well is that have you guys seen that foam that you can use that goes underneath to help with cuts and to prevent cuts? Yeah. So that tape there, actually it's not going to sound good for our club. Every player basically, because the club actually do a lot of tape that goes across the front. So every player has basically got their front and their back foam cut themselves. They stick over the front here and they stick on the back of their Achilles. Basically, they're sitting there waiting to get their ankle tape with that. It's like the you know the yellow stuff. It's not the yellow one. It's a white square. Yeah. And you can get it in a roll as well, and you can cut it yourself. But it's a bit thicker than that yellow stuff.
And you don't wrap it around.
You just basically stick it on. Okay, so you go the 3 stirrups, and then we go with the 6s. So when you're going with a 6,
try not to
starting across,
actually get those two
going down. So you actually do the 6 part first,
and when you stand, your weight on it kind of flattens out. And if I'm kind of pulling in,
and then this one here, I'll show you on the other side as well when we do it. And this one comes in a little bit more vertical.
Alright, so you're going to stand up. I mean, just stare to that. So already you can sort of feel your arches lifted up, like you're right up high.
On this side.
What I say to patients with this one is you'll feel really weird when you first stand up, but this tape does stretch pretty quickly. Like within 10 to 15 minutes, it'll be to the point where it just feels like it's supporting you.
So this one here, the vertical, it's just more a bit like that. The fanning of the stirrup.
So the more complicated version is what's called the moccasin. Has anyone heard of moccasin taping of the foot? Right, which is probably going to pop back up and we'll sort of do that on maybe another foot. So
And so you can start to see why they do the foamy bit at the front. You're starting to get through the front of the ankle there. So with your sixes, that can be the minimalistic tape that you do for some people, and sometimes you can reinforce the six that's going to come up on this side to help that movement there. Because at the moment that feels really loose, and I've done that on purpose just to get it in. That's not doing much at all. So I'd actually go further. So I'll show you what a strip does. See, at physio, we actually got taught the opposite way of this. That's why I'm not. So I don't normally. I'll show you in a second. We go the vertical. When they're out.
I do one each way.
I actually don't think it makes any difference whatsoever as long as the tape's there, because you can still do the pull. So if I show you how where you go, I go the vertical, come up, and I go there.
So that's what we was taught.
So Vinny and Crows, they do the circle part first. So when I first saw them doing it, I was like, what are you doing? And basically, when you look at it, it basically does the same thing.
It does feel a little different. I think it feels different.
Which way do you like better?
I think it feels stronger doing the vertical first.
The vertical first, yeah.
Because it tends to pull it up and around more rather
I reckon you can get more of a push.
Yeah.
So with this one here, you can actually pull and you can get that eversion. Okay, so then we go with the heel locks. Okay, so if I do it the other way, so we actually sew. Your heel lock is going to go across, and there you can see why we got the Achilles one. It's going to come around the inside, and then it's going to go at the bottom of the ankle. So with some guys, you can actually do the heel locks in the stretch. So you know how I was talking about the minimalistic, you don't want them to be too rigid. Because if the ankle's too rigid as well, and they can't function properly, and they can't get the push off and they can't get the turn, is that good either? So you might go with a stretch, still gives them a bit of support, but not as stiff. And then the last one I'll do is this one. I think a lot of it's at clubs, is just whatever they do is routine, they just keep doing. And you just kind of just go, and you don't think about what you're doing. I think everyone does that.
Alright, and that's it. Anything I'd say
So
with that,
you're coming across here,
give it a good rub at the back of the hand,
crossing that
sure
heel.
the blades are stuck together. And if the person actually has heel pain, you can leave that on there for a week. This part of the skin's really resilient. As long as they don't have a reaction, you warn them about having tape on for a long time. Sometimes they like it. You get a bit sticky.
Okay. So we got heel locks.
Stand up to see how that feels in comparison. So
Anchor.
that like sort of sometimes feels like you're like sitting up like a clawfoot.
I personally like
controls the back part of the foot.